Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to the Critical Blast Cave. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here at criticalblast.com. And tonight we have the team here from OFFWORLDER, which is still in Kickstarter and is going into on demand, I believe. We'll ask about that a little bit later here. We've got Lee Stewart from Fanatic Comics. Lee, how you doing today?
Oh, just fine, RJ. How about you?
If I was doing any better, they'd have to drug test me. So.
Oh, hey, that's really good.
Doing pretty good there. And then along with Lee, we have the writer of the series, the legend himself, Mr. Mike Barron. Mike, how are things out your way tonight?
They're pretty mellow. The smoke is gone.
The smoke is gone. Red skies at night?
Not for about 5 days now.
It was red skies at morning, night, and noon, I believe. For a
No,
while.
we didn't have red skies in the morning either. I think she's still blowed over, but I don't know if that the Cameron Pass fire, which is enormous, just ridiculous. I hope it's out now. It snowed up there, but it might still be going on.
Oh, man. It seems like California is always on fire every summer. And every summer it's like it's never been on fire before. So,
yeah.
So Lee, what is your position with Fanatic Comics? You just like the sort of like I do here, the head honcho, and you pull people together with big ideas and say go do, or you get a hand in there creating?
Yes. I wrangle everything, and plus I do a little writing on my own. I used to draw a lot, but my arthritis has gotten so bad that it's hard for me to draw. I keep trying to get my finger back into it or dip my toe into that, but every time I do, my hands start to hurt like the dickens, so I have to walk away from it. So typing's the best thing I can do at this time.
Oh, man. I tried to get into doing comic books, but I was discriminated against because they wanted people with talent. And they just,
I tried for years and years to draw.
Oh,
I gave up when I met Steve Rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you find somebody who could do it. Just say, here. It's much easier to fork over money than it is to labor with a pencil.
Bingo.
So why did you decide to get into this crazy funny book business, Lee?
Well, this is a buddy of mine, Mark, who I've known since junior high. Mark and I, we both had this idea that there were some comics that were being done that were really awesome, and we were big fans of indies. And one of those indies happened to be Nexus. And Mark and I, imagine, here we are. So Mark and I kept saying, between some of the stuff that John Byrne's doing and what we're seeing Mike Barron doing, we thought, well, hell, we can do that.
They made it look so easy.
Yeah. So at the ripe old age of 16, I said, I think we got a great idea, and we came up with the Special Powers Project, and I wrote and drew the first issue, and Mark wrote and co-plotted with me on that as well. And 35 years later, the Special Powers Project is now called Sentinels of Aegis, The Rise of Aegis. So, we're working on that now.
Very cool. And Offworlder is not your only title. You've done Ravage, and you've got some other things in the hopper, I take it?
Yes, we've got we're working on Offworlder. We're trying to get that funded, which this is an awesome story. I know people keep asking me, are you going to share any more of the art? No. I would like to, but if I do, I'm going to spoil the book for you. So there are about 10 pages that nobody has seen yet that we're not letting go out, only because that's the meat and potatoes of the whole story, and you don't want to get ruined. You want to enjoy this story.
Yeah, a couple of panels is all DC ever does, and they're selling just fine.
Well, we've got at least 10 pages that are available on the Kickstarter page, And anybody who looks at that art, they're going to be floored. Nobody's ever seen art like this. It's like the first time you saw Steranko or John Byrne or Neil Adams. Jordi Armengol is just an explosive force in comics, and he's got a unique style. I see a little bit of Steranko in him and a little bit of Galassi, but Jordi, I think, is more realistic in his depiction of the human form. But the way he spots blacks is revolutionary. Every page he does just has an impact like a bomb.
I'm going to share that screen too, so we can have that up here in a little bit.
And not just that, Jordi is doing the lettering and the colors on this. And I'm telling you, if you think that Jordi is an awesome artist, he has a meticulous eye for color, and he will play with the page and play with the page until he gets it right. If you look at that one page where the assassin is sneaking into Sara's room, that was when I said, wow, this guy is equal in his color as in his art. The moonlight shining through the curtains, you really need to look at that page. But also the cover by Pat Broderick, he really outshined himself on that when he did the covers for that, or the colors for that cover.
So Lee, let me ask you something here. When you started up Fanatic Comics, and you mentioned you and your buddy were 16 years old and just started up this idea and kind of carried it forward, at what point do you have either the gravitas or the cojones to go after professional talent and say, come write for us? No, we don't have anything out there.
Well, it's kind of weird. So true story. I bought Ravage from Ben Henderson.
Right.
I bought the comic. I was a backer. And so I also bought some original artwork. How I got all of it involved in all this was I had already I'm in shipping and logistics. I've been doing it for 31 years. And so I was building Fanatic Comics from the shipping side forward, which that's a backwards way of doing it. But because I was seeing a lot of these guys shipping stuff, and I was getting damage from a lot of backers all over the place. And I was so amazed because the industry standard is only about 3%. And I was looking at 33%. 1/3 of every book I was getting was damaged in some way. And I was like, I can't believe that is happening. And so because of me being a bit OCD and everything else going along with it, I was building a company from the back end forward. And just as I was getting to that stage where I was going to start looking for talent to do some stories, I bought Ravage, and Ben shipped my original art to some guy in New Jersey. Hey, buddy, I hope you like that page. You got it for free. So Ben's like, I'm so sorry, dude. I'll send you some more. So he sent me 2 pages, which was nice of Ben. And then a couple months goes by, and Ben is like, dude, I've got a problem. I need some help. He goes, do you know anybody that I could help out? I got Mike Barron and Jordi Armengol. I want to launch Offworlder. And I said, well, I don't really know anybody, but I've been looking to do some stuff on that myself, and I've got a few stories written. And he's like, hey, you got a comic company? Like, yeah. Hi, Ann. And hey, hi, Ann. So he's like, wait, you got your own comic company? I said, oh yeah, I've got an LLC and everything else. And he's like, we gotta talk. So he calls me immediately over Facebook, and then I start talking to Mike Barron on the phone. And then the next thing you know, here we are.
That's one way to do it. Yeah, that's much better than having to cold call people and say, hey, we got a comic book company coming up. We'd love to have you write for us. So Mike, have you had many other indie publishers trying to start up ever come up and say, "Hey, would you write us a book?"
Occasionally.
How do you handle that? Is it usually a show me the money thing, or is it?
Well, no, they usually ask me what I want. Like I just did a 3-pager for Don Chin, who's does parody comics.
Yeah, we talked to Don just last week.
Yeah, called Ex-Cons. So I did a 3-pager of Professor Baldy interviewing new applicants to be ex-cons. And there are a couple other projects I've been working on that I'm not at liberty to discuss because we haven't announced them yet. But they're exciting. And any project that I undertake, my goal, as always, is to grab the reader by the throat so that his involvement in the story is complete and he resents any interruption. And I know how to do that. I think we've all, Sturgeon's Law. Sturgeon's Law is 90% of everything is crap.
Yes.
It's after Theodore Sturgeon, the great science fiction writer, and he's got a point there. It's not always 90%, but most of the stuff that gets out to the public isn't very good. And I try to give good weight. It took me a long time to learn how to write. I always had a knack for writing comics, but I've refined it over the years. And now when I put something out, it's because I think, yeah, this is good. And I don't have any doubts about it. I know it's good.
I'm going to have to get in touch with you later on down next year sometime. I'm sure we'll speak like 20 times before then anyway. But when we put out the next volume of this with The Devil You Know Better, will be our second volume of this anthology. I'll pass a contract your way and see if you're interested in participating in writing a Deal with the Devil story to be included with it.
Oh, man.
My parents' name on the back of one of those books.
It's funny you should mention that because that's part of the new Badger novel.
Oh, sweet. Which tells me there's a new Badger novel coming now.
Yeah, it's done. We're just getting it edited now and formatting and stuff. But I mean, there's a million deals with the devil, but I have my favorite deal with the devil, and I always write about that, and I'd be happy to write about it for you.
Perfect. We will be in touch. It's this one just came out, so it's going to be a little while. I'm hoping to get some good news on that book as it gets out there further. But the book we're talking about tonight is Offworlder, and for those in the chat, we have the link to the Kickstarter in the description below. There is an IGG link as well. I believe it's for the sign-up newsletter. Is that correct, Lee?
Yes, we're going to launch Offworlder on IGG starting next Monday. So we haven't made that announcement official yet, but yeah, we're going to launch it on IGG on Monday. Okay,
I found it because I went to IGG first and I looked for Offworlder, and I found 2 entries. I saw the one that didn't make it.
Right.
And now you're sort of reformatting everything and putting it back together, and it's on Kickstarter. And then IGG gave me the other link as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that Kickstarter one now. Has it? It is not funded yet. It's got $2,500 and change with a $7,000 goal. And how long is it? 32 days to go. That's plenty of time here.
Yes. I mean, we're not talking a cheap book here. We could have gone, cheap on paper. We could have gone cheap on the cover. But let me give you an example. You saw, RJ, I sent you a copy of Ravage, which I have a copy here that we did. This is 80-pound cover stock, okay? This is not a cheap, and it's high gloss. This is not a cheap cover, okay? So that's 80-pound cover stock. Now, the interior is 80-pound paper. So, I'm sorry, excuse me, 70-pound paper. That's 70-pound paper on the interior with an 80-pound cover stock. That is equal to graphic novel in every aspect. And we're giving you a floppy. And unfortunately, since we printed Ravage we sold at $7. And yet everything has jumped up so much in price that we have to ask for $8 on Offworlder, because it's everything. It's crazy. Since COVID, everything has skyrocketed in price, and we're eating the largest portion of it. And because we want to try to keep these prices low, we know there's a market for quality comics. You know, as a kid myself back in the days when I was buying Nexus and Badger and Grendel and ElfQuest, you know, I was a big indie fan. So I've always had that love. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nobody is going to say Captain America sucks or Superman sucks because those were great books. But I was always attracted to indies. And yes, you always had to pay a bit extra for it because the print runs were so low. We are really offering a high quality book. And if you saw everything that we gave in that book for $7, we had a wooden bookmark in there. We had 2 prints. I can show you. We offered up. Yeah, there you go. So there's, yep. That's by Lorenzo. I suck at French. So that's Lorenzo's art. That's digital paint. He specializes in digital paint. He and I are working on a vampire book right now, a Dracula book together.
And this is bigger than a comic book size, by the way, folks. It's more like magazine size print here.
Yes, that's a big print. Because if you compare it to the book, here's the book, and there's the print. So yeah, right there. So we offered a lot of perks with our campaign. Not because we're trying to make money, but because we want to give to the fans a quality product. We know that once you guys get you like what we're offering, you're going to come back for a second bite of that apple. And Offworlder is that second bite. And then we've got Ravage 2 coming down the pike. We've got Victor's Diaries coming down the pike. We've got Sentinels coming down the pike. And from there, you know, who knows what's next.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the with the wooden bookmark. I mean, you know, nobody does that. You get bookmarks like you know, like the paper ones, like we did for The Devil You Know. It's just, you know, you get a bookmark company and you send them a file and you get 500 of them back. But this was quality print stuff. I didn't even know you could print on wood.
Yes, and that's the thing. You know, like I said, we decided to do some things, and this is the other thing too. We threw extras. We've had 2 successful campaigns. We're hoping Offworlder is number 3. People, give us our number 3. We threw in perks like this. This is on high grade photo paper. We threw in a calendar. We never told anybody we did that. There's other things that we threw into the campaign that we never told anybody. As a matter of fact, everybody who just bought the last Ravage campaign, there are 5 of you out there.
Get out!
Somebody's at the door.
We have 5 items that we told nobody about. And this is the first time we've talked about it publicly. That right now, 5 backers have this. And yeah, we're getting people in the laughing because we all jumped when the dog barked. But there's 5 backers out there that have not said anything to anybody that we can tell. And you 5 backers have something that nobody else has. And you should let us know that you got it, just so that we can say, see, because we've done this with both campaigns. The first campaign, we gave some extra stuff to. And in the second campaign, we gave some extra stuff as well. And in Offworlder, we're doing it again. We just don't advertise it because it's something that we want to give back to fans. Because I'm a fan. And
like
I think
that's golden ticket.
What's that?
Like Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Funny you should say that. Maybe. Or maybe there's something called Fanatic Funds.
Aha. So if you've got Fanatic Funds or something like that in your package that you've received, let people know and figure out how to use them. I like these little things. I'm guessing you go through Sticker Mule for your stickers and coasters.
Yeah, they were really great because, again, this is Carrie Sue. My wife is the best. I don't say that because I'm married to her. Don't hurt me, honey. But I don't say it just because I'm married to her, but my wife's the best. She happened to win not one, but 2 contests with Sticker Mule.
I'm
And
retweeting those things.
yeah, she's constantly retweeting that stuff. And she won twice. She's killing me. She's like, I won. I won again. Yes, honey. I love you. It's great.
Well, Sticker Mule is awesome because not only the pins that I showed you earlier, these, and then our keychain charms, we got all those from Sticker Mule.
Yeah.
And for the folks in the chat, we do have these 3-inch holofoil stickers. I got a whole package of them here, and we give these out all the time. And if you want one, by the way, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Critical Blast at 1097 Presswick Drive, Belleville, Illinois 62221. You all know how the self-addressed stamped envelope thing works. And we'll throw 2 of them in there so you give one to a buddy, and we monetize your work that way.
So is those through Sticker Mule as well?
Yeah, they're all through Sticker Mule.
Okay.
Because the thing is, you order one thing through Sticker Mule, and you're getting emails for life saying, "Hey, here's like do you want 1,000 die cut stickers for a donut?" I'm like, "Yeah."
We love you. You should buy this because we're going to cut it in half. Yeah.
We're selling bags now, self-sealing bags with your brand on them. I'm like, "Oh, sweet, I want some of those." Before you know it, I'm full of Mule stuff.
Yeah, the Sticker Mule is, I'm telling you, if as a creator, Sticker Mule really is a great company. They offer some really good packages, especially if you buy, if you're buying 300, 400, 500, 1,000 copies, they'll give you an incentive to buy other add-ons to give to your backers. And that was our incentive to say, hey, yeah, let's do that. Let's add something extra to this package so that we're giving back to those who backed us, because our goal is to, if we can do 1,000 books per campaign, we can cut the price significantly and still give more back to the backers.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, I've been saving this Ravage sticker in the backer there because I knew my laptop was dying when the book came in, and now that my laptop has officially become deaded, and I have this refurbished one here, I'm putting stickers on the back of it. So I've got my Critical Blast sticker back there. I think I just put my Dragon Rage sticker back there, and of course my Sticker Mule head. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to peel the back off of this and find a nice spot back there to put it up. My wife will come down and say, "You've had it for a week and you've junked it up already."
Now see, Eugene, I've sent you some art of, I think, of Eugene. Eugene, he's called Hacks in Sentinel of Aegis. He's all about stickers. He's based off my grandson, and he's all about stickers. And so his laptop is polluted with stickers.
I see it that way all the time. So let's take a look here at the Kickstarter page and see if there's anything that you want to discuss before we get into well, you know what? Why don't we tell people what it is first and then induce them to buy it rather than the other way around? So Mike, you're probably the best one to speak to about what Offworlder is. This is your baby. Introduce us to this concept.
Okay, I got to find my blurb because whenever somebody asks you what your story is about, you have to be ready.
Yes.
You can't hem or haw, and I worry about those things. I take them very seriously, and I write them up. And I have to say that this was Ben Henderson's idea, and it was based on his ancestors who were named the Guns and came from Scotland. But he handed it off to me, and I took it and ran with it. 7th century Scotland, Henry Gunn leads his clan in a ferocious battle with Viking invaders. But with victory in sight, he is ripped from space and time by an alien race. The Anunnaki seek a champion to stop another alien race from conquering all known space. Aided by the Egyptian goddess Sarah, Gunn undergoes a hideous transformation, becoming something other than human. Able to move through time and space at will, yet unable to save his wife and child. The fate of civilization rests on the shoulders of a troubled demigod. In the tradition of the Stars, My Destination, and the Silver Surfer, Offworlder is a star-spanning science fiction saga that will keep you riveted from first page to last.
Very cool.
And that's what it's about. There are no wasted words. Every word counts. Every panel advances the story. You're never in any doubt what's happening, and
So-
you're gripped the whole way.
So he's the off-worlder because he's off the world now. He's out somewhere else.
Yeah, he gets ripped out of space and time and taken to this other planet, which blows his mind. He's a 6th century guy, and they take him to this civilization. The Anunnaki are very advanced, and they're peaceful, but they're very powerful, and now they're threatened with an alien race that's totally inimical, that just wants to destroy and conquer everything in the universe. Well, how do you deal with something like that? So they put their greatest minds together and say, well, we really don't have the tactical or the strategic knowledge to deal with a threat of this nature. Let's find somebody who does. And that's how they find James Gunn, but they find him right in the middle of a battle with these Viking invaders. And it kind of complicates things for James.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best time, guys. Can we come do this another day?
Yeah, and see if you're familiar with XO Man of War,
Yeah, that's
on-
exactly what I was thinking.
that's on that same vibe. I mean, I don't know if many of you are old Valiant fans, but if you guys were into indies when Valiant came out with XO, it's along that same vibe. It's kind of like XO Man meets Highlander, and I know everyone laughs when I say it that way, but in all honesty, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get XO Man of War meets Highlander, and that's the story.
Yeah, that would actually be a really cool crossover if you had an off-worlder XO crossover thing going. And Mike, I know how these crossover things work because you're putting together one now that I can't wait to get my hands on.
Nexus, Lone Star, Bigfoot Bill.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't wait to see that.
It is crazy.
Only Nexus could pull that off. So
Yeah. Well, the
so
thing about Offworlder is that people are gonna, once you start reading the comic, you won't be able to put it down. Sometimes you get a book and you read it and you think, well, that line is jarring, or it looks here like the writer's just treading water because he doesn't know what to do. We don't have that problem. This story hits on all 12 cylinders. Every panel advances the story.
and I'm looking at the artwork now. This is some cool stuff here. This is very very detailed. I do like the blacks.
Yeah, Jordy does that 60-40, and I really like that style. I mean, this is a dark book. And, one thing that Mike's good about is he's really good about taking the average guy and just putting him through hell. And at the end, you're like, okay, so what's this guy going to look like coming on the other side? And what he does to Henry Gunn, I mean, he puts this guy through hell. I mean, really. And it's a great story. I was when Ben showed this to me and had let me see the script along with the art, I was like, oh, dude, I'm 100% in this. I want to do this book. Oh yeah.
I love this shot here. This is now, is this Gunn with the woad on his face carrying the battle axe? Or
Yes.
is he the one who get hit?
Yeah, that's the Viking invader.
Okay, that makes sense.
back
With
to
the
us.
Viking axe, and Gunn would be the one with the claymore. That's what I would have expected him to be carrying.
It's reversed. The Viking is the Viking is there. Yeah, the Viking,
The
and then
Viking's got his back to us.
yes,
Oh,
That's
Okay.
Gunn in the background with the axe.
and he's coming off of the ship, or the ship is coming for him to beam him up.
Well, it's kind of a collage thing that tries to encapsulate the scope of the story, which you can, when you do it, it's like a movie poster. Although that scene is in the book, it just doesn't have the spaceship in the background.
the one thing about the cover is it's very 80s, 90-ish. if you look at how covers were done, what they did was they tried to give you an idea of what the story would be about. So we've got the antagonist, the protagonist, and whatever is going on in the background, there's something there. You don't know what exactly it is, but it's a clue, it's a hint. And when I was talking to Pat Broderick about doing the cover to Offworlder, the one thing I told Pat was, I want an 80s style cover for this book.
Now, this isn't Broderick's cover here, though, is it?
No.
This is Geordie.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I looked at the signature and it's like, okay, that's not Broderick.
And this is Miliano can never pronounce his last name. Miliano Masalano. He is a great artist. He does a lot of charcoal art. I love his stuff. He's really, I mean, him and Geordie are kind of in that same 60-40 range. They do that dark art. I really like Massimiliano. That's what it is. Massimiliano. He's Italian. He's a great artist.
We're getting a lot of Italian artists and a lot of South American artists, South American artists coming into independence these days. And I think the dollar goes further there.
Show the Pat cover. There it is. That's Pat Broderick.
Now that's Pat's. And Pat Broderick, when I spoke to him, I said, Pat, here's how I envision this cover. I want an 80s style cover. And I sent him 2 different drawings. I said, I see it this way, and I also see it this other way. And both were either A, the lizard sin, as you can see in the cover there, they're hiding in the background. They're right below Rathgar's crotch there in the rocks. You can barely, right there. Those are the lizard sin. And a lot of 80s, 90s comics, that's how they did things. You know, you took the story, and whatever the story was, you put the protagonist, the antagonist out there. But if there was somebody manipulating things from the background, they were somewhere on the cover, either as a shadow or maybe just their hand. You know, John Byrne was really good at doing that kind of thing.
Oh,
and so I told Pat, this is how I would like to see this cover. You go it one way or the other. I don't care. Show me what you got. And he showed me this, and I was like, bingo, beautiful, love it. And
so
then
this is cover C, or
that's cover C. We also have a virgin version of that as well. So there it is right there. So that's cover D. And those are Geordie Armengol's colors. And Geordie is, wow. I mean, he has an eye for color.
Yeah, this is very. It's a very muted style of coloring. It's not. It's not 80s. 16 color crayon really pops out there bright cerulean or you know, the flat colors you would expect. This is very toned down hues here.
Yeah, because you're taking a night fight, and what you don't realize is off to the behind gun, off to the side there, is ships are on fire. And so that's where all that ambient light is coming from. So, and Geordie's like, oh yeah, I remember there was a ship's on fire. And I was like, oh yeah. He goes, so I'm going to put that ambient light in there. So, yeah, go with that, Geordie. Go with that.
Very nice, very nice. And now we're getting into the first pages of it here. So 641 AD. Then this is just, you know, the story. People can get in here and read this and see what it's about. This does not look Scottish here. So
that scene takes place in Alexandria. That's where the opening scene takes place. You showed the opening page with the library set on fire.
Yeah,
there it is. And that's the invading Muslim horde in the background. Actually happened.
Yep, one of the wonders of the world was lost. So, taking a look at the pledges, then we're gonna skip that $5 pledge. We want people to pick up something, right?
Yes. Let's enjoy this book.
Okay, where are the real pledges at, Lee? Because this is only an $8 pledge here for cover A.
Right, and if you'll notice, every pledge, whatever tier is set, and these are all Scottish clan ranks. So if you want to be a Dwayne Usul, cover A and B is right up your alley. It's $8, and that gets you the book. You can have cover A or B. We also have cover C and D as well in the Dwayne Usul. But if you really want something special, I have an arrangement with Pat Broderick and with Mike. We're going to let you get either cover C or cover D, which is the Pat Broderick cover, the Virgin cover, or the regular cover, and they will be autographed by Mike and by Pat Broderick.
Wow.
So
where's that? Is that on here yet? Is that on this page?
Yes. It keeps scrolling down.
Well, because here's the thing, Lee. I'm saying this can't possibly be right here because I know that to crowdfund any comic book out there is a minimum of $25 plus $10 shipping. You don't get a crowdfunded comic for $8. So whose leg are you pulling here?
No, but yet you hold in your hands Ravage, which we sold for $7. And that's with a graphic novel cover with interior that is graphic novel quality, and yet we're offering you a product that is equal and comparable to a graphic in a floppy for $8. And we're not talking about perks.
Tell them about the Steve Root original art.
Yes, and there is so much more in this campaign than just the books. But if you'll come down a little further, you'll find that there's the autograph. Oh, you just passed one.
Okay.
There it is. So if you just want the Dwayne Usul cover D, that's just Pat's autograph and Mike's autograph, just one cover. There it is, $25 for 2 autographs and the book. Now, some people might say, well, dude, $25. Well, we're shipping it to Pat, we're shipping it to Mike, and then we're shipping it to you. So there's a lot of hands touching on this book. If I could make it cheaper, trust me, guys, I would. Because, like I said, we're offering this quality of book. We offered it at $8. So you're getting $25 and you're getting 2 autographs.
See, 25 is almost standard. That's what I expect for a book. So to get it with both autographs on it, I don't know why only 3 people have selected this thing. This should have gone out first day. To have Mike Barron and Pat Broderick on here signing it, that should have gone.
But there are more, because we also have the Virgin cover and the standard Broderick cover, and those are autographed as well. So we have 100 of the cover C, and we have 100 of the cover D, and you can also buy. There's 100 altogether. We're only autographing 100 books because it's just too much to try to get logistics-wise to get these books moved from the East Coast to the Midwest or into the Rocky Mountains where Mike is. It's just too much to try to move that much product.
So let me ask you this, Lee, as a logistics guy.
Yes.
Are you actually printing the books and then shipping 100 books to Pat and then shipping 100 books to Mike? Or the way I did it when I showed you that Alice in Wonderland book that I did, and the publisher there, they also used to do limited print runs of hardcovers. So they did like 200 of them, but they didn't ship me the book. They didn't ship me 200 books. They sent me a sheet of paper that got bound into it. So are you sending like the covers to Pat and then to Mike and then sending the covers onto the printer to be bound, or you're sending whole books?
We're sending whole books. We have found that fans really have an aversion to that. I don't understand why, but they really do. I mean, everything I've seen and or read, fans really have an aversion. So I'm like, well, okay, so let's look at what the shipping will be. And at the end of the day, we made some arrangements with companies, and we were able to get these books shipped to Mike and Pat Broderick at a fair price that we could live with, and a fair price to the backers. And again, we're not out there trying to milk you guys for every penny we can get from you. We want to give you a product that is affordable, reasonable, and high quality. You got Mike Barron, who is a 40-year veteran in comics today. Somebody, I mean, I know you guys may not realize, but I'm in my mid-50s, and I've been reading his stuff since I was a teenager.
I think I'm learning how to write.
Yeah, he just started. So
you'll get there someday, Mike.
What's that? Oh yeah. So we've got Mike Barron, we've got Pat Broderick, who is almost or as far as I can remember, he is almost 40 years into the comic industry, and we've got these two, and Mike will tell you, I'm not trying to embarrass you, Mike, but these are legends that we all grew up with, and I mean, God knows. I've told Mike off screen how much I appreciate him and how much I've enjoyed him as a fan. And in his Nexus, his Badger, in his Batman, his Flash, the stuff that Mike did, I've enjoyed everything that he's done. And the same thing with Steve Rude, the same thing with Pat Broderick, his Micronauts, his some of the stuff that he did. I mean, his Sunrunners. I was a big fan of Sunrunners, but like I said, I've always been a fan of indies. What's that?
His Fury of Firestorm covers were the best out there.
Oh yeah, Firestorm was Pat's opus was Firestorm. And he may disagree with me, but at the end of the day, that's me. I just think his Firestorm was his opus. But having said that, we're offering you a quality product at a reasonable price. And we don't see any reason why you shouldn't back this, especially with what's going to happen in issue 2.
Yeah, if you love comics, you're going to want to get this. It's one thing I know is it won't disappoint you. Sometimes you order a book and it's just not what you expected. This book clicks on all 12 cylinders. It'll grab you on the first page, and you're going to read it in one sitting because you want to know what happens next. That's the question in all fiction. What happens next? And the reader has to care before he turns the page. I know how to make a reader care.
You can get both C and D both autographed, and you don't even upcharge for putting them together. That's just like you bought them both separate. It's $50.
Yep. Again, not trying to milk the backer. We're not trying to take as many pennies from you as we can. We want to give you a quality product because we know we're not in this for the short term. I haven't invested all this time, energy, and money into this company just to say we're here fly by night. No, we are in this for the long term. We have the next 3 years planned out. I've got it mapped as what we're going to be doing. And the only thing missing is you guys. And we think we really do have a quality product that you will want to consume, enjoy, because I love escapism, and that's why I buy comics.
So I just scrolled down here, and I saw you've got levels here that are going to have combinations of books. Here's the one with the bookmark, a Sarah print by Matt Weldon, who's a great artist to get in there. You got T-shirt designs popping in here. I hate that I come over here and it keeps bluing it out. I don't like that. I like that.
Yeah. Kickstarter, there's a lot of features on Kickstarter that I like, but man, they really need to look at how they do this because there's a lot of features on there that are just annoying. You can't have any graphic on the leader, so how do you know what's in there? You have to scroll down through the entire campaign just to find out what the image looks like.
Yeah, what I do, we click on this thing and it expands, and there's your whole thing. But $200 or more, Steve Rude warm-up Indiana Jones. Obviously nothing to do with the book itself, but it's...
No, dude just gave me those. He said, here, take these. Maybe you can give them out as premiums.
And if
Well-
you scroll down, you'll see those Steve Rude warm-ups. Fans really look for those because they give an insight as to what the creator is trying to do. He plays with it. Steve was playing with pencils and watercolors. He's really trying to experiment with a lot of different mediums, and it really looks interesting, some of the stuff that he does.
I should have just scrolled down the left side here, and then people could have seen the images of these.
Yeah.
stickers.
Yeah. Like I said, it's crazy how it works. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Did I pass it?
I don't think you did. I don't see it on that page.
I didn't see it either.
They're there. There's the Weldon print.
Print. Okay, this is the so it should have been the very next one I would have seen, but now it's the Toisich. I have no idea how to say it.
Toisich.
Toisich.
Yes.
I was going French with it, or Gallic, as it would have been then. And the Tannist, which is the two covers. Clan Chief, we're going backwards. And the add-on.
I know it's on there.
And then
Don't you have those pieces at hand, Larry?
I can. Carrie Sue, can you hand me those art pages? She's going, oh my God, I forgot to put those on the page. Can you go ahead and send me or bring those to me, please? Yeah, because I've got them in a protective slipcase. But yeah, and this is the thing. We have so many different variations of what you can buy as far as what you want. We've had so many, like when we did Ravage, we had everybody and their brother saying, well, look, I want this and this and this, but I don't want this and this. I'm like, okay, we can work with you on that.
sure.
And so
Right.
And so we tried to work that into Kickstarter, but Kickstarter really is not very friendly to that sort of setup. So we've had to really play with a lot of different tiers in order to make it work.
BM, let me tell you which one to back. You want cover C because you want the Pat Broderick signature, but you always want the name of the comic book at the top so that you know what it is in the bag without having to take it out. 30 years from now when your memory's gone. So yeah, get cover C and back it at that level. You won't regret it.
Okay, so I did have a gentleman. Now we've only been selling these in the U.S. for two reasons. One, I am very afraid to ship these across the pond because the risk of damage is so great. These are a one-of-a-kind piece, and even though I have experimented with different shipping products, I'm not happy with any of them. So we have one gentleman, he is adamant he really wants one of these, and he wants it in Italy. And I'm seriously thinking of working with him and try to come up with an idea of how we can do this. But this is Steve Rude's Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's nice. That's an original too, right?
Yes. This is opaque watercolors. This is Steve Rude just fiddle farting around, warming up to do other work. So these have been sealed in my living room, waiting for one backer to one day buy them. And you be lucky backer to get it. You'll love this. This is Steve Rude at his best.
You want that framed. You want that hanging in your living room. This isn't something for your comics cave. This is something for where your friends and family gather. So they do something classy.
And just so you know, this is on Comic Stock. So this is him working with your 10 by 14. So now this is canvas. This is very heavy. This is pastels and water and colored pencils. So he's taking pastels and colored pencils experimenting what that would look like.
That is very sweet.
So you got a stormtrooper and a pirate. This is my favorite. I really like this one. I don't know why, but this is my favorite, and it is very, very unique. And this is on painted canvas, so this is very heavy.
The one on the right of the pirate, I think, is an homage to N.C. Wyeth.
Oh, okay.
That was because that is very much an art study. I mean, you saw the different color swipes that he had at the top there, saying this is what I'm working with. So it wasn't meant to be a portrait or a landscape. It was like, this is a study, and it's eminently frameable, and
Yep.
something that should be hung on a wall somewhere.
Yeah.
And for
And
$200,
doodles per se, fans really do look for those because it gives a perspective and an insight to what the creator is trying to do. He's experimenting with a new idea. He's experimenting with different concepts. I mean, Steve Root is sitting here with watercolors and colored pencils and saying, well, what does that combination give me? And there's your answer.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really a nice collectible piece that you're not going to, this is not your polished, finished commission that you're going to find. This is his vision of something he's trying to figure out.
It's obviously the work of a master. You can tell that at a glance.
Mike, you and I need to sit down at conventions and just kind of like, write down doodle paragraphs of words and sell them off $25 a pop to people.
If we ever get a convention going. Hey guys, I got to bug out. I'm on another show.
Take care, Mike. Glad you came in here.
Thank you for having me on.
Always glad to have you here. Come anytime. All right, so it's just the two of us now, and holy cow, it's been 52 minutes. That's almost an hour. I feel like we just got started, Lee.
I know there's so much.
Well, I can tell. I don't usually do the Kickstarters, and it's not a political thing, and it's not a IGG. I like IGG over Kickstarter for one reason. When I back something on IGG, my money is taken out right then. I don't sit there and look at my phone and say, how much money do I have here, and not realize I got $150 worth of Kickstarters that haven't been taken yet and end up spending it. So that's the only reason I don't like doing Kickstarter. I have done them, and I will do them probably this time around too, because I'm going to get one of them signed copies if it kills me.
And I'll be honest with you. I have a contract with Pat Broderick. I can only sell those Pat Broderick covers on Kickstarter. That's our deal.
Well,
so once they're gone, they are gone. Just like the Lorenzo cover, I have a contract with Lorenzo. All those covers were Kickstarter exclusives. Once they're gone, I will never reprint them. When I say never, Lee says never.
all right. 32 days to go to fund to make these things a reality. Probably put a reminder on my phone for day 30 or 31 to jump out there again, just so I don't bounce checks, because I like to make sure the money comes out when I say the money comes out.
Yeah, I hear you. I tell you, my comic habit is, but I like I said, 55 years, guys. I've been buying comics for 55 years. Or no, I'm 55. I've been buying comics for over 40 years, almost 50. But
well, I'm 53 and I started reading in kindergarten fluidly. So
oh, wow, okay,
so, yeah, 50,
you beat me by 2.
yeah. But yeah, I learned how to read off of them because I was stealing them from my barber shop. And anybody. Yeah, well, the thing is, I couldn't buy comics. Not the fact that I was 5 years old, notwithstanding, I couldn't buy comics where I lived because I lived in Sparta, Illinois, where they were all made. Every comic in the world was printed in Sparta, Illinois. Nobody sold them because the people who worked there just took the overruns home. They ended up in yard sales and beauty shops. And I just scrounged for them and got what I wanted. So that was how my collection started.
Yeah, and there was a printer in called Midwest, and they're gone. But Midwest also, there Marvel and DC had a lot of different printers, and what they would do is they would they would have these different locations do it, and then they would ship them all out. Well,
Yep.
Midwest did all of the Treasury books, the Treasury editions for Marvel. And I remember a buddy of mine going, "Hey, have you seen this?" And I'm like, "What is it?" He goes, "My brother just brought this home to me, and it won't come out for like 3 weeks." And I said, "What the heck is that?" And he goes, "It's the biggest comic book I've ever seen in my life." And I was like, "Wow, that's huge." Cardboard cover. I mean, it was a massive book. And that was the Captain America Bicentennial Special, 1976.
Keep talking.
And so that was the one that when I saw that, I was like, JR, I have got to have that. I've got to find that book. And he's like, well, good luck because, this is mine. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. And I have a good stack of those myself. Oh, yeah, the Shazam. Oh, yeah, got that one. Love it. Yep.
Conan.
Oh, yeah. Famous first editions.
I was in a antique store, not like a high-end antique store, but like, some guy's running a rummage sale antique store. He had this under glass for $37,000 because that's what it was in guide for Detective 27, and I couldn't convince him.
Did you have the heart to tell him?
I told him, I think that's a reprint. No, it says first edition on it. So I'm like, okay. But I couldn't tell him, and I wouldn't tell him. And I am missing, some of these are up in my son's room. I need to retrieve them because I did not have some of my favorites, which were the Superman and Spider-Man versus Spider-Man and Batman versus Hulk.
Superman versus Muhammad Ali. That was the book that clinched it for me. I loved Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
I don't have that. He's also got my Superman Wonder Woman Bicentennial special when they fought each other. So that was, God, I love old comics. I miss comics.
So what? And I'll show you something here. I'm going to do a review on this. This is the only book worthy of my second favorite villain. This is the only book worthy of Galactus.
Oh, that is a big book.
This is bigger than my fat redneck self. I'm telling you, this is a huge freaking book.
You got to lay down on that book to read it.
Exactly. I mean, look at this. Look at this, people. This book is huge. This has got issue 49 and 50 of Fantastic Four. Plus, it has the John Byrne Galactus stories in it. This book is about 1 inch thick. It is hardcover. It sells for $50 on Amazon. I picked this up at my LCS. I told Jeff, hey Jeff, love you, dude. I told Jeff, I said, if there's something that comes out about Galactus or the Fantastic Four, you better get it for me because I want it in my pull list. And he goes, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, yes, right now. Right now.
Does that have the one where they capture Galactus and Reed Richards is on trial saying that he's
bingo. Yes. Yeah, that's
that story.
The thing that I loved about John Byrne was he proved that you could take a Kirby and Lee story and expand upon it. He didn't take the Fantastic Four and take them somewhere new and unknown. He just took Kirby and Lee's stories and said, hey, what if we do da-da-da-da-da-da-da? That's why he brought back Wyatt Wingfoot after what, 5 or 6 years of never seeing Wyatt Wingfoot in the comics. We saw Wyatt Wingfoot come back because Byrne's like, no, he was a great sub character. We need to bring him back. I got some ideas we can do with him. He gave us Aunt Petunia and explained who Aunt Petunia was. I loved that story.
Did he bring in Willie Lumpkin?
Yes.
Yeah, I talked with Dan DiCarlo before he passed in an interview we did with him. And Dan created Willie Lumpkin when Willie Lumpkin was a comic strip. he had no idea that he was the Fantastic Four's postman at the time, that he was still being used in Marvel Comics.
Wow.
So well, I hope if you get royalties off of that, you tell them you're due a check.
Yeah, no kidding. But, that's the thing. You can, like I said, and this is just as a fan. Like I said, I've been collecting comics, and I know you're a comic collector as well. But, when we look at comics, you don't have to give us some crazy new direction for the characters. I mean, that's always great, and it creates hype, but it's very minimal. Just take the characters that you already have, give us a story, evolve an older storyline, and give us something solid to work with. That's what Byrne did, and it worked fabulously. Walter Simonson and Hickman, they did a great job on the Fantastic Four, did the same thing. But no one's going to, at the end of the day, no one's going to say that John Byrne's run on the Fantastic Four was not epic, because let's be honest, that was freaking epic.
You're making me miss comics, man, because I feel like I haven't read them in so long now. And I just went through a stack of what probably are some of the best comics I've read of the modern age in the last 5 years. Because I'm going through this Joker War thing, and that was still took a while to win me over. So
Joker War looks interesting. I'm surprised, but because I'm not a big fan of Joker. I really don't know why. I just never was.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Marvel guy. BM, to answer your question, my wife, she comments, but BM, to answer your question, our next project, hopefully, is going to be Ravage 2. That's going to come out after we fund Offworlder. Then, if all goes well, we're going to give you Victor's Diaries. Now, just to give you a quick elevator pitch for Victor's Diaries, I do not like horror comics. I know. You can all beat me later. Right? It's okay. I accept that. I don't like them. I've never been a fan. But yet I did like Swamp Thing, which so what I'm doing is, if anybody knows anything about the history of Bram Stoker, you know that before he published Dracula, somebody approached him, and nobody knows who it was, and he never wrote about who that person was. He was approached by someone, and he did a massive edit on Dracula after he was approached. This has led to a lot of gossip, a lot of, what if, what could have been, but nobody knows. To this day, nobody knows why Stoker changed Dracula. I know why. I can tell you why. Because Dracula found out that everything he wrote was true. And Dracula decided that Stoker either had to die or change the story. And so you get Victor's Diaries. And that's just the premise. That's just for you to get a taste of what we're bringing you in this book.
A lot of people are going back to the old school stuff now. I mean, Clint Stoker's got the Dracula story he's working on. Of course, he's found out he's a direct descendant, so that's going to be cool.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen at least 2 other Frankenstein projects being worked on. There's Otis Stein, and then there's a Confederate Monster that are both out there. And I think somebody who used to do stuff, I can't remember her name now. She's got Dracula Mother Effer, which I probably won't buy because I don't want the title laying around on my desk when somebody walks in and just sees it. Sorry, kind of. And that's a guy who's just bought the Virgin cover, skyclad cover of Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose off of Jim Balance Kickstarter a couple of months back. So if I'll have that sitting out here and I won't have that, I just won't. BM, you're right. Joker War is interesting. It's good. I don't like it. I don't like it because it's good. And that's difficult to explain, but basically, I think Jeff Johns has been shafted by DC with everything he was setting up, because Jeff Johns is the guy who looks at DC Universe and says, "That's a big, massive freaking plot hole. Yeah, we kind of ignore it." No, the story that connects it is this. And, that's what he did with Green Lantern Rebirth. That's what he did with Flash Rebirth. He's the guy who actually made Hawkman make sense after Crisis.
Yep.
I'm convinced that he had to change Doomsday Clock after he lost his editor and Dan Didio came in, because I'm absolutely certain that Doomsday Clock was supposed to be Dr. Manhattan leaves the Watchmen universe, says he wants to create human life, jump to the end of Green Lantern 40, where Krona is like, "Behold the beginning of the universe." And here's Dr. Manhattan's hand, that pale blue hand, holding the swirling stars. And the oldest race in the universe is the Owens, who are pale blue. God created man in his own image. And therefore...
Holy crap.
So Dr. Manhattan created the DC universe, and the reason it's always getting rebooted is because he's always trying to get it right. If you read Doomsday Clock at all, and you see Dr. Manhattan changing history, like, I pushed the lantern 6 inches out of, Alan Scott's reach. Dr. Manhattan can't time travel. He can see time as
different
a solid.
time.
If he was there to see it, he can't change anything. The only way he can change anything is if he actually starts it all over. If this is his to create and he says, "Nope, smash that toy, build a new one," now he knows what's going to happen so many thousands of years in. Okay, this is the day the train wreck happens. I need to be there because I don't want him to get the lantern this time. Then that makes sense. Absolutely convinced that that's what was supposed to happen. And now it's not. Now, 3 Jokers, of course, we've been waiting on this for 5-6 years from something that was a throwaway line in Justice League Darkseid War. And now we can't even tell if this is in canon or not, because Alfred's still alive. We don't know where it fits into Joker War. It's Black Label.
And the greatest mistake that was ever made was letting Tom King kill Alfred, because why? It made no sense.
Yeah. So hopefully there's still an inkling of that Jeff Johns Dr. Manhattan thing going on, because if you see Wally West in the death metal stuff going on now, which I've read 1 issue of and I won't read any more because I can't follow it, he's got the Dr. Manhattan symbol on his head now, and he encountered Dr. Manhattan during the Rebirth. Please, somebody reboot the entire DC universe and start from scratch. If I had $25 to buy DC away from AT&T right now, I would do it, and I would say, okay, just everything's wiped out. No, we're not going to say we're restarting Superman, but everything in Batman stayed the same. New 52 style is no. Issue 1, first appearance of everybody, which means that you're going to wait 5 years before you get a Robin in a Batman series. And he's going to be 13 years old, and he's going to be Dick Grayson, which means you're going to have to wait another 10 years before you get Nightwing, if that long. You might have to wait longer. Because I'm not going to accelerate time that way. But
it makes you wish for the days of
Dick. How did I get up on it?
It makes you wish for the days of Dick Gordino, don't it?
Oh my God! I have a picture of me and Dick Gordino and Denny O'Neil at Chicago Comic-Con 1989, and I'm in Joker garb because the Batman movie had come out.
Oh,
but yeah,
so
I missed those guys.
Dick Gordino was at a panel, and I can't remember. I want to say it was Mid Ohio Con, but don't quote me. It might have been in Nashville, but I was a convention whore in my youth. I went to cons anytime. So I remember on this panel, he was there and he was talking about the coming of the new Teen Titans. And so I remember reading the old Teen Titans, and I thought, the Teen Titans sucked, man. I mean, I know, but I'm like, the Titans sucked. Towards the end, I was like, that book was crap, man. What are you doing? And then when I found out it was Marv Wolfman and George Perez, yeah. See, but okay, let's be honest. Towards the end of the run, which is where I caught it, that book was crap. It was on a suicide run from hell.
Titans East and Titans West, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I heard it was Marv Wolfman, Dick Gordino was like, well, it's going to be Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and wait till you guys see what they're doing. They got these great ideas, and we're really looking forward to it. And I thought, well, hellfire, boy. If you got Marv Wolfman, George Perez, a writer and an artist that I have loved, Spider-Man, Avengers, John Carter. I mean, Wolfman was everywhere in Marvel. Perez, Fantastic Four, Avengers, crap, he did. I mean, he was all over the place in the Marvel universe. I'm thinking, if you guys got them guys over there, I got to see it. And Marv Wolfman's Superman, the best interview, and I'm an interview junkie. So the best interview I ever saw Marv Wolfman was, he was talking about, okay, look, I need to make Superman. I need to fix Superman. DC's problem is Superman can destroy a mountain with his forehead.
Yep.
Why does he need to think? And I was like, holy crap, he's right. Why does Superman even need to think when he can destroy a mountain with his forehead? And that's when he said, we need to cut his power level. We need to, make Superman a little bit less godlike and more human-like. And I was like, yeah, this is 100%. I agree with this. And, that wasn't a bad story run that he did for Superman. It really made fans take notice of Superman, even though some of them were kind of weird. But it was a good run. And then, so immediately when I heard that Wolfman and Perez were teaming up to do Titans, I had to get it. And so I bought the DC special that they had in it. And I was like, okay, I'm not quite sure. I need to see Titans 1. And when Titans 1 came out, it was over. I was a Titans fan.
Yeah, Titans was, I didn't miss an issue of New Teen Titans. And then I was getting it twice a month whenever they went to the Baxter printing. And I was like, oh, we're getting
Tales of Teen Titans plus Teen Titans. Yes. So you had to buy them both. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm getting both. Yeah.
And I'll never forget that I had to be driven, because I wasn't old enough to drive, be driven 28 miles to the next big town where there was a 7-Eleven, and I bought New Teen Titans 1 Baxter printing off the spinner rack. Good times.
Oh yeah, I was just a kid. My dad always instilled work ethic in all of us. I mowed lawns when I was a kid. And so my dad always said, you're the richest 12-year-old that I know of. Because I would have a couple $100 in my pocket because I mowed tons of lawns. Yep. And so every month or every week, my dad would take me, after I collected my money for my lawns, I would go to the next town over, which was like 5 miles away. And the rule was I had to buy my father an ice cream cone, a double dip or triple dip ice cream cone from Friendly's, which that was a high dollar ice cream cone back in those days. Let me tell you, people, I had to buy my dad that, and I had to pay for the gas to get there because he's trying to instill in me the value of his time and money.
Yep. And
then I would take, and I had like $40-$50, and I walked into Rodney's Complete Books shop, and to this day, he used to tell me all the time, kid, you're my favorite customer. I'd blow $50 a week in this guy's shop. I bought Comic Buyer's Guide. I bought Amazing Heroes because I was big into wanting to know what the creators were doing. Plus, I bought almost everything that Marvel sold. I was a huge Marvel freak. And but at the same token, if I saw Perez, Wolfman, man, I had to get their stuff. And Titans, I devoured that stuff. And when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, I was like, hey, Rodney, what's this? And he goes, I have no idea, man. He goes, isn't it weird? I was like, yeah, let me look at that. So I thumbed through it, and I said, I'll take 2 copies. And he goes, why? I said, I don't know about this book, man, but I like it. And so I took it home. Yeah, I showed it to my brother, and my brother's like, that's dumb. And I was like, yeah, but it's cool, dumb. It's kind of cool. And the next thing you know, issue 1, that black and what was it? It wasn't black and white. It was tricolor or 2-color or whatever weird thing it was. That book went crazy, and I had all my buddies like, dude, sell me that book. You got $100?
Hey, I hope you flipped it good.
Yes, eventually I did. Yes.
Yeah, I had the big oversized Raphael one-shot that they came out with. I don't have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it. At one point, I had to sell my entire collection after I got married. Bills came up and you had to pay them. And yet somehow I still have 25, 28 long boxes to my left here, full. So
yeah, you sound like me, dude. You sound like me.
Well, hey, if you like TMNT, you and BM here in the chat, we had Don Chin on here about a week and a half ago, and he's the guy behind the what followed TMNT, the Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters. And he's getting ready to relaunch X-Farce and the which Mike just talked about. He did that that 3-pager for the X-Cons. So Don is back out with Parody Press. He's going to be putting some of that stuff out here soon.
I love those. Remember the Phoenix Saga parody that came out? What was it called? I have that copy in my collection.
Was that the X-Men?
Yes, I think so. And it was I'm gonna tell you, everybody, it is awful, but it's funnier shit.
Hey, I'm gonna cross the streams here on us. Marv Wolfman and George Perez, Phoenix Saga. Remember the X-Men Teen Titans crossover?
Yes.
That was beautiful.
And I when I saw the cover, I was like, well, that's not anybody that I know. Who did that? I was like, I want Byrne. I want Perez. I don't want this guy. And then when I opened the book, I was like, I kind of like this now.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene in there is Starfire hears Colossus say something in Russian. She's like, "Oh, a new language," and her little powers that she absorbs languages by kissing, which just drives Kitty Pryde nuts. And of course, Nightcrawler's like, "Fräulein, sprechen Sie Deutsch?"
Yes. And Nightcrawler was such a ladies' man, and yet, you can't do those kind of books anymore. You can't, and I hate that we can't do that.
Corporate politics got in the way. But yes, BM, that did happen. That was X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, the good team, and the Teen Titans, the good team. And it was Darkseid brought back Dark Phoenix to help him penetrate the Force Wall. And it was just this awesome team up that.
And it was the craziest story, too, because, you have DC's best team story, which is the Titans, and then you have Marvel's best team story, which is the X-Men. Bring them together and bring the Phoenix and the Darkseid together. Well, of course, you're going to get something crazy.
Yeah.
And I was so in love with Darkseid at that moment because I had seen Kirby's Fourth World. And, I didn't mind it. I liked it, but Darkseid wasn't really, he didn't click with me then.
Yeah.
But when they did the Titans, I was like, oh yeah. And then of course, Keith Giffen, was it the next year or the year after, he came out with that,
Great Darkness.
the Dark Saga in Legion. That was crazy.
That's the other thing with DC. When I do buy DC comics for $25 from AT&T when they sell it off, I'm going to put myself on Legion because my Legion story. There's a lot of stuff in current day DC that should have impact on Legion time DC. And those things, I just want to open one issue up with a random group of the Legionnaires responding to a museum break-in. Sort of like the lower tier Legionnaires because, we're just kind of on patrol kind of thing. And, the alarm's going off. Let's go check it out. And they get their ass kicked by this guy in the shadows who's, breaking into the antique stuff. And it continues that way until you get to like page 3 or 4 when Dawnstar shows up. And suddenly the guy who's holding this mace and a bunch of bruised and battered Legionnaires, he stops. He says, Shayera? And it's the reincarnation of Qatar Thal as Hawklad. Because that's Hawkman's thing is he reincarnates all the time.
Yes, he does.
And I'm like, well, he's going to think that that's Hawk Girl. I'm like, what if it is Hawk Girl? And she remembers. How's that impact her romance with Ultra Boy that she's got going on?
Yeah.
And And then, of course, before anything else can happen, he's zapped out of there because guess who else is still around in Legion time? The Spectre, Dr. Fate, the non-biodegradable plastic man, just all these people who've been operating as, why should the Legion be the only super team in town? Justice League's not the only super team in town in modern. Right. So there's been this hidden secret justice society of these legacy characters who just can't die. Swamp Thing, there should be a Swamp Thing in the Legion time.
Yeah.
And now I won't do it because somebody listened and will write it at some point. They've already brought Dr. Fate, the back of Dr. Fate's head rather, into Legion of Superheroes. Brian Michael Bendis did that, and got paid for that page.
That won't go far. But and that's the thing. See, the thing about 80s and 90s comics, particularly 80s, was they took all of these great ideas for characters. They used the basic storyline, the hero's journey. They took the hero, they gave you a story that the hero has a mission, and he gets put through hell, and then he comes out the other side, and you find out what he's all about. That we kind of lost that in the 2000s, 2010. We kind of lost a lot of that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to go back to with Fanatic Comics. I had an individual, Vic King. He helped me with some concept art, and he said, this kind of has that X-Men Alpha Flight kind of vibe. And I said, well, that's because that's the element I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So it is a Mission Impossible story. It's Mission Impossible with superheroes. And the same thing with a book we're working on is called Exile. It's another book where what do intergalactic empires do with their political prisoners? Well, they exile them onto backwater worlds. Just so happens that the brother of the emperor of the Galactic Empire is sick of his brother, so he exiles him on a backwater world called Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what on Misfits.
So what happens when the brother says, it's not enough that we exile him on Earth. Let's have him have a tragic accident. So he sends a guy to take care of it, and inadvertently, he doesn't kill him. He damn near does the job, but he doesn't know who he is, doesn't remember anything, and he thinks he's human. So what happens to this guy as he's walking around this planet thinking that he's just your average everyday Joe? That's one of the books that we're working on. Like I said, we have a 3-year plan that we want to really put out some books for backers and fans of comics. If you liked the 80s style comics, be it Marvel, be it DC, be it Indies, I was a big Comico fan. I was a big First fan. I loved, and I know some of you guys are going to go, what? Dynamo Joe. If you've never seen Dynamo Joe, love that book. Doug Rice is the nicest guy in the world you'll ever want to meet. Phil Foglio, they went to DC. They worked together over there on, was that Nighthawk?
On Marvel had Nighthawk.
Okay, it wasn't Nighthawk. It was the dude had he had like a Doom mask, but it wasn't quite Doomish.
Darkhawk?
No, over on DC.
DC, oh.
Phil Foglio and Doug Rice worked on that title.
I cannot think of that one.
But
another team that I really liked too, that Mark Evanier was writer on, the DNA Agents.
I love DNA Agents. Oh man, I love that.
And they did a crossover with the new Teen Titans.
Yes, they did.
Unofficially.
Yes.
I don't know why they couldn't do it because they both did it. The Teen
DC
Titans
said no.
Well,
Wolfman wanted to do it, but DC said, well, here's the deal. Because they did it on both ends. So you had Comico had DNA Agents, and you had DC had Teen Titans. And what they did was they swapped the characters, but they had to rename everybody and draw everybody just a little bit different because they couldn't get the lawyers to agree as to what the ramifications would be. And so they just made up different characters, but made it close. That was the whole thing. And it was great.
Teen Titans fought the recombinants.
Yes.
I forget who the Dean agents fought, but they were, one per one for the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
So
it was a great story. And there was Rocketeer. What was his name? The artist.
Stevens.
Yeah, Stevens.
Put Betty Page on the map.
Yes, he put Betty Page on the map because he was a big Betty Page fan, which is weird because I happen to be a Betty Page fan as well. And when I saw his, I was like, wow, that looks like Betty Page. It was. So, but he did a lot of covers and some stuff for DNA agents. And that was a great book. I thought so. Doug, how do you pronounce his last name? Munch?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the stories for DNA Agent. It was a great book. It was a lot of fun. Same thing, Roy Thomas and Pat Broderick on Sunrunners. That was a fun book.
And you know what? A lot of these guys, like Mike Barron and like Chuck Dixon, are still out there and still capable of doing stories. And I think that if by whatever act of providence could ever happen, if we could ever get all these guys under the same roof again, and you're on your way there, you got two of them under the Fanatic Comics. But if you had a publishing house that had John Byrne, Mike Barron, Chuck Dixon, Doug Mensch, all these great guys who were producing these 80s and 90s books all under one house, it would put the fear of God into Marvel and DC like nobody's business, because it would just they would be the big three, and Marvel and DC wouldn't be the top two.
Well, see, okay. I have to be careful. I cannot say what I want to say.
We're delving into contracts here, I think.
Exactly. If I speak out of turn, I'm going to get fried. So let me just say this. As a fan to other fans, there are three people that I have been talking to for the last 6 months. One is bona fide, 100%. He's in-house. One.
Okay.
The other two told me I have to be able to produce $20,000 per campaign before they would even consider working with Fanatic Comics. Does that mean that I'm going to sell my soul to the devil to get $20,000? No. If I don't get these two guys that I really like and have known in my teens, not known, but just
sure. Whose work you followed,
who work I followed. If I get these guys to come in, it will be something unique. It will be something that probably hasn't been done since Comico or First Comics. And this is what drives me. This is what motivates me. And so I can only say that right now there is just one, who is bona fide in-house. And I can't even say who that person's name is. But you'll see something happening around the first of the year with that. After that, it's just, we've got to keep building this. Fanatic Comics has got to keep just churning this out, building this. She knows. That's my wife. She knows. She always makes me look like a fool. But so we just need to keep going forward, and that's my goal. I want Fanatic Comics to be something that fans can go to and say, hey, these guys, they're building something because fans want this, not because I want it.
Now, do you ever see a point where you don't have to crowdfund a book? Where I'm a publisher and I've reached this point. I mean, because that's what crowdfunding was originally for, was not to just get an item out, but to crowdfund a business to where it's self-sustaining. This is my kickstart. This is, gets me started until I can keep going on my own, kind of thing.
See, and this is okay. I can only say this, and I know you're all going, oh, he's lying, but the truth of the matter is, when I first started this 2 years ago, Carrie Sue and I, we contacted an individual in our community here in Iowa and said, hey, look, I want to produce comics on a massive scale, not just through crowdfunding. I want to put them in stores. I said, I'm really struggling on how I might be able to do that. And he goes, I got an idea. And he goes, I have these contacts and I think I can help you. And since he himself is a publisher, he said, I'll introduce you to X, Y, and Z. We have, and again, I have to meet a certain criteria. And that criteria is I have to have more than, 2 or 3 books to offer to put on a stand. Much like what Mitch Breitweiser, when he put his in Walmart, I thought, wow, that's awesome. That's what I'm working on. And so, except I didn't want to go to Walmart because, one, it's too much. The front end is too expensive to do. And I don't have that resource. But with the help of this individual, he's like, I can get you into these smaller stores throughout a certain region of the Midwest, and we might be able to, that's kind of where we are, but we have to meet certain criterias. And, my goal is within 5 years to be there.
So do you have distribution, store distribution for the books you're crowdfunding? Because BM is asking here that he's called comic stores to get, Ravage 2 and Offworlder, and, was told that the company that was doing them was sold. Obviously, that was when you bought it up from Ben. Are you going to have a way to get these books into stores?
We have the ability to put these forward to Diamond and to, I forget what those other guys, the DC's using. Yeah, so we have the opportunity to do that. It's just, there really is. There are criteria we need to meet. And I need more than one issue. I need to be able to put a book out consistently. One of the things that I'm struggling to do and trying to get to that stage is, if I can put a book out every quarter, that's great for the next year and a half. If I can get a book out every quarter, great. If I can get a book out 6 times a year,
yeah,
that's where the magic happens. We have the potential with currently everything that we're doing. We could reach 6 issues a year. Once we get there, then the snowball effect starts happening. We can then go into stores. We can then distribute our books through a grocery store chain, for example, or a gas station chain, for example. That possibility is there, or into your small, or something like.
Your audio is not leaving.
Oh, am I too far away from my microphone again?
I don't know if it's too far. It just goes blank. It's not like a thing. It just cuts right out.
Okay. And I just bought I just changed everything over too, because my mixer died on me. But, we have the opportunity to get this out there to fans. It's just, we have to meet specific criteria. And right now we're too small scale. And that's what it is. It's too small scale.
I hear you.
And the same thing with Mitch Breitweiser is struggling with as well. He has got to get books out on a regular basis, or Walmart's going to walk on that. And that's the same thing we're hearing. You have to be able to do it consistently.
Yeah. Walmart is a blessing and a deal with the devil at the same time. Because, notwithstanding the whole fact that everyone's mad about Red Rooster, they crowdfunded it and now it's in Walmart and they don't have their books yet. They're getting the graphic novel. He's doing the serialization with Walmart. And I'm pretty sure Walmart said, we'll carry these 3 books, but you have to have this 4th one in there as well, or there's no deal. So, what was he going to do? But once Walmart is carrying something, the next thing they do is they put in an order for, we need 8 million of them now. And if you can't provide that, you break your contract, you're fined out of existence, and you're put into bankruptcy. So it's just, it's.
Yeah, this.
Uh-oh. Matt says that Walmart is going to walk.
Well, and again, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and speculate on what the Brightwisers are going to do or what they're not going to do. But, indies live and die by their ability to put out a product on a regular basis. It's what killed Comico. It's what killed First Comics. It's what killed Grendel when Grendel was out there, and it killed Warp Graphics when Warp Graphics was putting out 4 titles a year for they had Distant Soil, ElfQuest, and some other ones. They just couldn't be consistent. So
that's what always concerned me about crowdfunding when it became sort of popular about 2.5 years ago was like, this is great that I'm getting this first issue of a book by these guys that are great artists, great storytellers, high quality product. But why do I want to wait 6 months for the next one or 1.5 years for the next one instead of, sticking with something that I can get every 2 weeks or once every month at the minimum?
Right. And that's the entire reason why Fanatic Comics has made it such a point. We don't want it to be a 6-month wait. Okay, so let's just crack this nut wide open. All right. Let's take the Ravage campaign. Since the book was already done, there was no cost for a writer, an artist, a letterer, inker, colorist. Those were all taken care of because the book was finished. So if you print that book, you would need X dollars to print it. So let's just say you print, say, 500 copies. So you're going to need about $700, $800 to print that book. Then, of course, you need the money to ship that book, and plus your fees from Indiegogo or Kickstarter. Right. Okay, so let's just go $1,000. Okay, so there's $1,000 invested in this book. Now add in anywhere from $100 to $200 for writer fees per page. So then you've got your writer per page fee.
So you don't have Brian Michael Bendis writing.
Yeah. Thank God. Then you have anywhere between $100 to $250 for an artist per page. Then you have anywhere from $50 to $150 for a colorist, and then anywhere from $50 to $75 for a letterer. Okay, so so right there's thousands already on top of this book. Then you still got to print it, you still got to ship it, and you still got to get it into backers' hands.
That's a lot of money to make back.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I saw Matthew Reyes made a comment about Iowa, and I was oh, okay. Scotts Bluff. I've been through there many a time. Matter of fact, Carrie Sue's from Lincoln, Nebraska. So
I miss conventions too. This whole year, just I've got Mike mentioned I do the Destroyer books. I've got these crates of books here that I'm like, and then the Devil You Know book that we put out. I'm like, yes, I'm ready for convention season. And I'm sitting on these books with nothing to do with them now.
I know, and I was talking to Pat a few weeks ago, and Pat Broderick was telling me, he goes, he's got, he's doing, what is that series he's doing? He's wrote it and is doing the art for it. It's, oh my gosh, he's going to kill me if I don't correctly. But anyway, so Pat Broderick, I'm going to get the name here in just a minute, but Pat Broderick is working on a graphic novel, and I think he's got 2 done so far, or 3. but he has done. This is some of his best work, I have got to say, because I loved this book. I haven't read it, but I just from the detail artwork that he showed me, it was amazing, and it's basically a lot similar to what Barron has done. Mike went and took a the Sumerian beliefs and the Sumerian legends with the Anunnaki and so forth, and then Broderick took the Sumerian history and legends as well, and created his own story. And the Anunnaki are completely different in his version from what Barron was doing, but it is a really super beautiful book. And if you've ever seen Pat Broderick, when he really gets detailed, wow! I mean, his work is amazing. I'm scrolling through my.
Is the book Forgotten City?
No, it's a weird title. I'm scrolling through my messages here from him.
Then he needs to put it on his webpage.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And that's the thing. I was trying to talk to him about he should sell this thing, but he doesn't sell it on his webpage. But he sells it only at cons. And so right now he said he's got 1,000 titles that, are just sitting in his office and he can't get rid of them.
Oh.
Yeah. So and he prints like 1,000 to 1,500 at a time, and then puts them out.
Well, I couldn't do that. There's way too many.
Oh yeah, that would drive me crazy. I would be sitting there driving myself and my wife crazy.
Let's take one more look at this Off-Worlder thing here. I'm going to refresh the screen. Drum roll, please. I've done nothing but waste your time all night, Lee.
Hardly. It's always a good day to talk to fans and also fellow creators. We all have our loves for comics and the comic medium. And like I said, I've been a fan for almost 50 years. And yeah, you're not gonna any day I can talk comics. I don't care what it is. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I try, when we do these things to like keep it on focus, promote their book. We've only got an hour. We're an hour and 43 minutes in here because we went on 45-minute rants about, the good old days when comics were comics and, superheroes were superheroes. And that's always a good discussion. And I got to dig out my oversized books and my new Teen Titans reprints. And, gosh.
It's Nibiru, the Legend of the Anunnaki. That's what it is.
I keep hearing that come up lately. I mean, Pat's got that. Mike Barron's got that. I just finished watching Monster Force Zero, a movie, and we're going to try to have them on and do a stream about this fan movie they did. The Anunnaki, Ann Onaki. She puts in an appearance. She's an alien in that movie.
Well, and that's the thing. It seems like right now, because I've noticed in some searches I've done, the Sumerian culture is something that everybody's looking at right now, and I don't know why. But maybe it's because of certain TV shows. It might be something on History Channel, because every now and then, if they run something. But can I share a screen?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, let me share. See if it. Oh.
BM, you're right. We still have a lot of time. I've got till 11 o'clock Central tonight. I've got nowhere to be and nothing to do. So.
Okay, I need it.
I pay for the streaming service, so they're not going to cut me off after 2 hours.
No, just my wife will come in here and beat me. She's like, Lee, you have to go to work in the morning.
Yes, yeah, I have to go to work in the morning too, but because of the the beer bug restrictions, this is where I work. So I get up and I come downstairs.
Oh, wish I could do that. Okay. It's loading. Come on. It's this one crazy page. Yeah, there it is. It's not going to load, is it? It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it.
Come on, internet.
Yeah. Okay, you're getting better. You're loading. Come on. Oh, and while we're on this discussion here,
What were we talking about? The Anunnaki.
yeah. Well, also something we wanted to announce just with you guys. We had every intention of expanding our milestone. So this is our backer milestone. Now, as many of you know, we threw up when we got 100 backers. We were going to give away 3 copies of Ravage Kill All Men, all autographed by Lorenzo. And don't ask me to pronounce his French name because I suck at it. But it's going to be his cover, his print, and his calendar, all autographed by him to 3 of our backers that will be drawn at the end of the campaign. The next one, at 175 backers, we're going to give away 5 copies of Mike Barron's Nexus novel, autographed by Mike Barron. And that will be to all backers of 175 at that time. So only those backers from 1 to 175 will have access to that. Then at 250, all backers will have an opportunity to get the original Pat Broderick cover art.
The original, not a digital reproduction. This is pen and ink.
The original. This is Pat Broderick's pencils and inks on paper for you. Free to any of those backers. Yeah, and that's only to physical backers. So if you buy the PDF, I'm sorry, you're not qualified to be in the drawing.
Put them in a drawing for a PDF scan of the print.
So if we can reach 250 backers, that gets us more than funded, but you will also get the opportunity to have Pat Broderick's art hanging on your wall.
That is very, very cool.
So, this is one of the things that we like to do. This is not something where, sure, I could have put this out there and offered to sell it to the backers, but we want to continue to give you something, so we bought, Mike didn't give us these. We paid for these. We're going to give these to you because we want to give back to our backers. So we have 5 copies of the Nexus novel, and they're for our backers. We have 1 copy of that. I could have kept that for my wall. I'm going to offer it up to our backers.
I definitely would have. That would be hanging up in my office. Well, this is my office now, but
yeah. So that page will not load. But this is something, like I said, this is what we try to do with every campaign. We want to offer something unique and special to our backers. And, we've continued to do it. We've done it with the first Ravage. We've done it with the second campaign on the Go-Go with Ravage. And we're now doing it with Offworlder. So, if you guys are interested in the book, which, hey, you should. It's a great story. I've happened to read issue 2, and I love this story. It's a really good story. And
the message I'm getting is everybody click on the Kickstarter link down here and back it through Kickstarter, because some of the contracts, this is only good for Kickstarter stuff. So
yes,
over your biases, back it through Kickstarter, and get some autograph stuff and get in these drawings here for these packages. Because this is some cool opportunities here. That
Yeah.
And they're unique opportunities. This is not something you see on a lot of the crowdfunded stuff.
No, and don't think for a second we're not going to do anything special for Indiegogo. Oh no. Every campaign is going to be unique. It's just right now, this is what we're offering, and this is only on Kickstarter. What's going to end up on Indiegogo? Hey, that's anybody's guess, but it's going to be unique to Indiegogo.
And you launched that one at the beginning of October or next week or
next Monday.
Next Monday. Okay.
Yep. Yep. So don't think that, oh, it's going to be on Indiegogo. I'm going to get the Broderick cover. No, sorry.
No, be a totally different cover. The Broderick cover won't. Now, and that's not just not the signed ones, but you're saying the Broderick cover won't be available at all on Indiegogo?
No, it will not be available on Indiegogo. It is a Kickstarter exclusive only cover.
That's incentive. And then go to the Indiegogo one where it'll be an exclusive George. I don't know who's going to draw it.
Yeah, I wish it was George Perez. But just keep this in mind, guys. Again, we're trying to keep the prices low as we can. We don't want to rape our customers. We just want you guys to get a quality product on quality paper at a reasonable cost. And at the end of the day, if you help us and if we do right by you, we give you a good story, good art, good comic on quality paper, quality stock, and you appreciate it, you like it, and it's worth your time and money, come back for another bite of that apple because we've got a whole lot more in store. A whole lot more.
And I can attest with the package I got from Ravage that this is definitely quality work as far as, the cover stock, the printing, the artwork. You will not be disappointed with what you're going to get from this package here. This is not tissue paper. This is not shoddily put together. This is not your average Marvel book. This is quality construction, and the
80-pound cardstock cover. It is 70-pound interior. It is a high gloss cover. It is a satin interior because nobody wants a cover or interiors that are so glossy you can't read it in any light because the reflection is so strong. But we gave you a satin finish so that it's sharp, it's beautiful, but the gloss won't blind you. But the cover will. So, do like I do. I can't show you behind the green screen here, but I've got covers framed that are some of my favorite books. And that's what I do. If I really like something, I frame it.
Oh, I know that some people can get those comic book frames at your comic shop where you slide it in, put it up there. I should have done that. I did not. I went to an actual frame store. There was an old guy who has since retired from this, but this was his retirement business. So I have my Green Lantern 40 with the Alan Scott and Hal Jordan fight going on the cover. I've got my Flash, I forget the number now. It's the first appearance of the Reverse Flash. And in another frame, they're behind museum glass with special colored mats around them and a label on them, like if they'd be in a museum saying, first appearance of, dated this, that, and then I got my double frame where I've got my Detective Comics first appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, side by side with Batman Comics first appearance of Betty Kane as Bat-Girl. Because I'm like, well, I can't say it's first appearance of Batgirl if it's not true all the way across. So,
yeah. But yeah, so who is that makes those frames? They're really the best price out there.
Some I don't know who makes them. My son's got a Pure Heart. Archie is Pure Heart Powerful in one of those. Drop it down the top frames, and they're well done. I should get more of them, but I'd start running out of wall space because there's a picture I've got somewhere, and I'll find it and I'll DM it to you from my high school yearbook. They came and took pictures of my bedroom in high school because I was collecting comics in high school, and you can see on the wall I would put them in the bags, and then I would fold the top over loose enough to where I'd have like a half inch, and I'd put a thumbtack through the bag, and I just had them all over my wall. And you can see those Baxter printing New Teen Titans. Back when you would get emotionally impacted from reading a comic book, where you wouldn't just say, That's interesting. Wonder what happens next issue. No, it's when you actually see the, Terra has betrayed the Teen Titans, and you're like, holy what? And when they pull the mask off the vigilante and it's Adrian Chase, and you're like, oh my God. Yeah, God, I was 17 there again for a second.
Yeah, I know what you mean, brother. I know what you mean. So I got it to come up. This is Pat Broderick at his most detailed. Look at that stuff. That is insane. This is the kind of stuff he did on Sunrunners.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. BM, go get yourself some command strips. You don't have to put nail holes in. Just
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bags Unlimited. They have the frames, and those frames are awesome. They have a UV protector built into the frame. They're very thick. They're about an inch, 3/4 of an inch thick, so that you have plenty of room. It will snugly hold your book in there. It has a nice backer on it. It's all acid free.
Like a CGC slab without the seal.
Exactly. And so you can put some really high quality books into those. And I don't think they're that expensive. I know we bought a pack of 5, and I think it was like what, $25, $30. So maybe a little more. But yeah, they're really Bags Unlimited really is a good resource if you're buying, large quantities of comic bags. They actually do palletized shipping. So
yeah, I need to get some more of those because I got all these magazine-sized. Marvel used to do the Destroyer as a comic book.
Yeah.
So I've got some of those I found at the flea market, and I need bags for them.
They have manga bags. They have the smaller manga, the novel size. They have they have tons of different bags.
Yeah. We're just advertising the hell out of everybody else tonight except ourselves. I mean, we're talking about Stick Mule. We're talking about Bags Unlimited.
But see, that's the thing. That's what fans do. When you find something you like, you're like, hey, did you guys know about this? Did you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the word of mouth gets around. I mean, this probably isn't Sticker Mule, or I can't say that it is or isn't Sticker Mule, but I bet it is. This was the keychain that I got with the Tarot Witch of the Black Rose thing, and I didn't even order this. This was just like a freebie that came with it. When they hit a certain level, it's like, okay, we hit this many, now everybody gets these. I'm like, oh, cool. So I get more for my money, which is the other cool thing about crowdfunding, is that when you start getting these, I don't know whether it's called tiers or add-ons or levels or what it is, but you buy a book and 500 other people buy the book. So now you get bookmarks and stickers and posters that you didn't know you were getting. There you go. I want one of those to go right next to her on my. And so I love it. They're not squares. They're following the edge of the figure.
They're die cut. This right here, this is going to be Indiegogo exclusive. This isn't on. This isn't going to be in Kickstarter. This is going to be one of our IGG exclusives. So, just so everybody knows. I mean, we have, like I said, every campaign has to be unique. That's one of the things that when I discussed with Carrie Sue, we need to make sure that that's what we do. We don't want the same thing every time.
No, it makes sense. Not the same thing every time, but I think some things should be consistent. I talk about, you see a lot of campaigns that do trading cards with their campaigns. And I finally got to talk with Graham Nolan about this, because I talked with a lot of the middle tier people. And I had Graham Nolan. I'm like, okay, you're the first big brain guy that I could actually get this through to, so maybe it'll happen now. I think everybody's done trading cards wrong with their campaigns, and what I mean by that is that one of the things that's a tenet among whether you're a comic skate or a non-comic skate or just a crowdfunder is that all these we're here to build each other up, make each other successful, while we make ourselves successful first. And my plan is, and again, this is one of the things where I come up with big brain ideas that I have absolutely no capacity for making happen, so I throw them out to other people. But my plan is that if you get 9 creators to get along long enough, they each put out a trading card of their character with their campaign. Now, you remember in the 90s when Marvel put out trading cards, the X-Men trading cards, and you collected them and you put them in that little 3x3 sleeve with a 3-hole punch in it, and you filled a sheet. Oh, I got cards, 1 through 9 finally. Oh, hey, it's one big picture that's all 9 of these characters on a similar background. If you could have 9 campaigns do that, just get together and say, okay, one artist guy, you draw our characters and put them in this kind of a spread so that we can cut them and make them cards. And you start putting with your campaigns. Now you've got some guy says, okay, I backed Offworlder and I backed, Soul Finders, and I got cards. Wait, these cards these are part of a set? Well, where are the other 7 cards? And now they're going to go look at 7 other campaigns that they might not have even run across by accident or even cared to look at. But now they're going to look at it at least to find out if they can get the card or not.
Do you remember the Marvel stamps? And Carrie Sue, yes, you're right. I misspoke. This is in the Kickstarter. There's a print of like this, the concept print that is going to be in the IGG. I'm sorry, but this is also in the Kickstarter. But if you remember the Marvel stamps, you had to be a member of FOOM. Were you a member of FOOM?
I was not a friend of old Marvel, but I was more of a DC guy anyway. Okay,
well, I begged my mom on bended knee, Mom, I need to be a FOOMer, and she goes, a FOOMer? And I was probably 8. I need to be a FOOMer, Mom. And she goes, what's a FOOMer? And I was like, this. And I hold the comic book and I show her. I said, I need to be this. I need to join this. And my mom is like, my son. And my mom was a big sci-fi geek. My dad, no. My dad was a motorhead. So I had it from both sides. I work on cars. I can work on cars to the best of anybody else. But I'm also a big geek because of my mother.
And reading cartoons, right?
Yes. So Mom's like, all right, if I get this for you for Christmas, will you just shut up about this thing? I was like, yeah, Mom. Well, she didn't do it for Christmas. She did it for my birthday, which is in October. So she got me a membership to FOOM, and you got this little. It was like a sheet of paper, and it was to put those stamps on. You cut them out of the comic, and you glue them onto that thing, and you could hang it up. And it was just a little, it was a Steranko art piece. And it said, the Marvel stamps, and it had the blocks for the stamps, but there was like art behind it that was done by Steranko. I thought that thing was the greatest thing coming and going. I can't tell you how many comics. That's
the reason why I go to yard sales and come home with a comic book. I'm like, somebody got in the thing.
Company, cut the damn stamp out. Yeah, because I hated that guy, and that guy was me.
Well, I can't complain too much because when I was from the 9 to 13 year range, I was selling flower seeds. Because of that, I sold those flower seeds, man.
Yeah.
Grit. And I had a paper delivery route because I sold grit.
Yeah, so did I. See, and I lived out in the rural, so you could sell seeds. I remember Mr. Jones, God rest your soul. That man, he wore me out. He'd go, I'm a junior, and everybody back home called me Junior. He go, Junior, you got any more seeds for me this year? Yes, sir, I do. He's like, well, you better get me about a dozen of them lettuce seeds, and I need about 15 packs of them corn seeds. And I'm like, God save me. I go home and tell my mom. My mom's like, you better get them because Mr. Jones, he ain't going to wait too long on you. He'll go buy them at the store.
Yeah.
But he made me richer than hell. I mean, I was getting flashlights and I got a bow and arrow. So, yeah, he made me very happy as a kid.
You know, that I don't really think of that anymore, but I was making money off of the job advertisements that were in comic books for kids to do.
Yeah.
Every time you saw an advertisement for a kid to go out and be an entrepreneur at anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the stuff that they don't talk about anymore. You know, nobody talks about the just the goofy things you learned out of comics. I mean, did you buy the 1,000 soldiers or the 1,000 army men?
I did not buy the 1,000 army men. I heard they came in an envelope.
Yes, because they're like paper thin. They were like, oh gosh, they were like not even an eighth of an inch, but they had a little flat piece on the bottom where you could stand them up, and if you just went, they'd fall over. But you know, but I told my mom, I said, Ma, look here in the back of this comic. You see all these army men? I want these army men. My mom was like, $2, huh? Plus shipping and handling.
That's when $2 was real money.
Yeah, she's like, you better go help your dad mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Okay, Ma.
We fed a family of 5 at McDonald's for $5, so $2 was money.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'd go out there and help my dad, and he's like, so what do you want now? These army men, Dad. I want these army men. He's like, okay. And, you know, and my folks, don't get me wrong, we weren't rich, but, you know, my dad always believed that, you know, if you did right and you worked hard and you did what you're told, you got rewarded. And so I got those stupid army men. You know, I actually got that cardboard submarine.
Oh my God.
That thing lasted maybe 2 days. Me and my buddy JR, we floated that stupid thing, floating actually inside it, walking around the yard. Yeah. We walked that thing everywhere. We walked it like a half a mile down to my buddy's house. We were inside it, pretending to be shooting cars as they come. But we walked it a half mile down to my other buddy's house, and me and JR were in that thing, just having a blast. But that was what you did back then.
Yep. You know what? You can probably tell the one I bought just by looking at me. You can probably tell the one I went in for. Take any guesses? Charles Atlas.
Oh my God! I know you did not.
No one kicking sand in this guy's face. Yeah. And
the book that taught you nothing. I swear,
nothing except calisthenics. As like isometric exercises. That's just push-ups.
Yeah. Like I said, did you ever buy the fishing kit?
I did not buy the fishing kit. I remember that.
That was $15. If you remember right. I paid for that one. I was mowing, and I was like, my papa was like, "You need to get a real tackle box." And so, of course, I told Papa, I said, "What do you think of this?" And so I showed him that fishing kit on the back of the comic, and he looked at that, and he goes, looks at the front of it, and he goes, "Of course," you know. And he looks at it again, and he goes, "Well, I hope it's all that and a bag of chips, because if that ain't for $15, that's way more than what I can get at the bargain bazaar." You know, so we bought it, and it was all crap. It was such a disappointment. I mean, the fishing poles, I mean, they were twigs, man. You could take them and just, you know. But
so if you got a minnow on the end of it, you lost your fishing pole.
Yeah, if you got that, you know, if you got a bass that was, you know, just a feeder bass, you were screwed. That thing was done.
Okay, so another one I got the Hypno coin.
Yeah, I never got that one.
It was just a cardboard circle with a lenticular front on it, and you spun it, and it kind of went dizzy on it. But you know, I had.
So it wasn't even a coin; it was just cardboard.
It was cardboard. It was like your lenticular comic book cover, only a little thicker.
Wow.
Put it on there. It made the illusion of spinning around. But I'm gonna have to ask you, since we both dug into so many things in the comic books for purchasing, did you get the X-ray specs?
I couldn't get my mom to let me get them. She said no. She said, quote, "If them things can see through dresses, you sure as hell don't need them." And I was like, no, Ma, really, I want them. I won't look at women. I promise, Ma, I won't. I want to spy on my brother. I want to see what he's up to.
I have no idea how they were ever able to market that thing and people buy it, but
I've heard that they were bad. They were just pieces of cardboard and glasses with some little funky thing on the front.
Yeah, the idea was it said X-ray specs on the front. It was to make other people think you could see through what they had.
Yeah. I begged her. I mean, I worked her. You ever watch Christmas Story?
Oh,
boy.
Yeah,
Ralphie worked his mom. Yeah, how Ralphie worked his mom for that Red Ryder BB gun. Yeah, I had one. So that's how I worked my mom. I was like, Mom, if you lost those car keys a while back, if I had them X-ray specs, I could have found them keys, Mom. And she's like, shut up.
At some point, I'm sure Mom probably looked over in the corner and saw, a broken fishing pole on a bunch of toppled army men.
Yeah.
Stacked up pieces of cardboard of a submarine. And you know what? Maybe no.
Yeah, and those army guys, they came in a little cardboard box about yay big. When I saw that box, I was like, they can't all be in there, right? I was like, this sucks.
You were expecting those regular
army men.
Yeah.
Yes, I was expecting. We had a store called the Bargain Bazaar, and you go in there for $1 and get like 20 of those green army men for $1. I thought I was getting 1,000 of those puppies for $2. That's what I was thinking.
You could blow up as many as you wanted with firecrackers because you
we have to worry about it ever again. But nope. They were horrible.
Oh man. Well, and this has been fun. I'm glad to chat on this. We are over 2 hours, and I don't hardly ever do that.
Yeah, we've done talk too damn much.
Well, I can't close out any of my streams without shilling, because that's the whole point of doing these streams. Give you guys as much time as possible, and then get my last 30 seconds into whoever stuck around long enough. If you want to support the channel, we love you being here. You wanted to hit that super chat button and couldn't. It's because we don't have one. We got a lot of watch hours to fill up yet. We got our subscriber base up, so thank you everybody for subscribing. But we still got to hit that 4,000 watch hour thing, and I think we're like 1,300 and 1,400. Something. We a long way to go. So log on to YouTube, go to bed, and just let it play through the playlist. That'd be awesome. But no, if you're a merchandise kind of person. Again, if you don't want to spend any money at all, and I don't, so I know I can relate to that, just visit the website, criticalblast.com, go through our reviews, our interviews. We have a bunch of stuff up there. None of the ads will carry you through it. They don't pop up. They don't get in your way. They don't float over. We don't do any of that bleeding cool stuff. You'll see ads are at the top and they're along the sides, and that's it. Amazon ads will show up in the middle of an article. They don't float. It's just there. It's like if you read it, you decide you really like the thing, click on the Amazon ad, and then we get a little kickback from Amazon too from that. But if you do like merchandise, well, we do that too because we're a publisher. We began publishing about 2.5, 3 years ago. Our first book was Gods and Services, which is an anthology of a little pop-up store that is never there when you go back to it to try to return what you bought. It's got, looks like it should say goods and services, and the O fell off of it. That's intentional because the proprietor, Hiram Priest, doesn't believe in false advertising. You can buy a little knick-knack or a doodad or anything else in here, and you get home and realize there's a god attached to it, and this god is out of work, and this god has now been offered the offering of your payment, and is out to make your life better, whether you want to or not. 20 short stories in here. We got people in here like Ira Bloom from Scholastic's Hearts and Other Body Parts. John Della Rose, which name you probably know. David J. Peterson is in here from the Angst series. That's linked to that is on Amazon. We also have our first hardcover young adult superhero story, Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell, which just today went on ebook on Kindle. So if you don't want a hardcover book, who doesn't want a hardcover book? You can get it for your Kindle reader. Cody Haywood wakes up on his 16th birthday to find out that he is, as the title says, bulletproof. He can't be harmed. And since he lives in a world of superheroes, he's going to become one. Cody's problem is he has the attention span of a ferret on pixie sticks. So he's got to have his friends help him focus or he's not going to survive the terrorists who have discovered that he's bulletproof and want his father's formula that made him so, and will find unique and interesting ways to kill him, invulnerable or not. And then you saw earlier in the stream, showed the latest one, The Devil You Know. This is 20 short stories in our last anthology from authors all around the world. Some of them published, some of them first voices here. All of them great stories. I had the first book, when we did Gods and Services, we were nobody. We said, yeah, we're paying for the stories, and you get a copy. Struggle. We must have maybe got like 50 submissions in, and I picked 10 of them. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to stop it there. With The Devil You Know, after that came out and they said, oh, they really do something. It's amazingly, when you actually publish something, the next time around the book comes around, people jump on it because they're like, oh, you're here to stay.
You're serious.
Yeah, we had almost 200 submissions for this thing. And I ended up I was going to pick 10. I ended up picking 20. So it cost me double what I planned to spend on it. And I don't regret a single bit of it. All these are stories. They're stories in the past. There's stories in the future. There's present day stories, fantasy, science fiction, all of them about people's encounters with the devil. Some of them are humorous. Some of them are horror. Loved it so much. And I love that cover that we got so much from BO Books, team in Bulgaria. I said, save that artwork because we're going to do The Devil You Know Better. And it's going to be doing that on the next one. And then, best do that. And hopefully I can talk Mike into taking our paltry little fee that we pay because we're not rich. And I end up, they're a loss. I will never make the money back on the books that I put the money into.
Yeah.
It's like I'm paying 20 writers. I'm sending stuff out. I've got 3 here that I still got to send overseas. It's costing me more to send the books overseas than it cost me for the book and the purchase of the story for each artist. I'm like, what is it with this?
I feel your pain. And they're jacking the price up at Christmas. So get it out now because Carrie Sue, when is that price increase going for overseas shipping? She knows. She's all on top of this stuff. She was the one that warned me. We have to make sure these books get out before that date because that Christmas jack is, I think it's like 20% or 18%. Oh, it's going to be huge. It's evil what they're going to do on postage for the holidays.
Sucks.
Oh yeah, shipping is a killer. And like I said, I've worked it for 30 plus years, and trust me, it doesn't get any cheaper.
Well, yeah, and I work IT, but working IT means I've worked banking, I've worked manufacturing, I've worked logistics. My first IT job right out of college, I worked for U.S. Transportation Command as an Air Force contractor. So that was Desert Storm, Desert Shield. Logistics.
So 1018. That price increase comes 1018.
Oh crap! Okay, so I gotta get these. That's almost $100 in shipping for 3 books sitting over here.
Yeah, so you're looking at 18% increase. I think it is. So
okay.
If you you don't want to spend that $18.
Okay.
Oh, I know what she's going to do. Not to advertise another product, but
what's the other product you have, Carrie? This is like QVC now,
I know what she's going to bring up.
Pirate ship.
If you use Pirate Ship, will give you a discount on shipping. We use it. It was created by a bunch of entrepreneurs who were trying to find a way to cheaply ship. And what they did was they pulled all their resources, and it really is great. We were going to go with, I forget who the other company was, but they're free. There's no fees. No fees at all.
You only pay the postage, which is all I have to pay now is the postage.
Right. But they let you email your customer, their tracking number. They let you keep track of your customers. You create a database of your customers. Pirate Ship really is the way to go.
That's
I'm not trying to
number to have.
Yeah. So look them up. They're 100% free. You don't have to buy into a program. And Karen, if I'm not mistaken, do they not give you a free scale, or is the scale super cheap or something? Because I know.
What about your customs form?
You don't need one with Pirate Ship. It all goes through. It's all built into the system, so it's all there. You get print label, track shipments, international shipping to. Okay, you don't get the free scale. Okay, so you have to pay for the scale. Yeah, they do all that for you. They will do all that customs crap, so you don't have to play with it. Nothing.
Very cool.
All on the label.
Well, let's throw something else out there, because we're talking about crowdfunding comics, and we keep talking about Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And Mike's gone, or he could have talked to this, because I know he knows about it. What if you could crowdfund your comic book directly to comic book shops and comics retailers, and be able to give them the price breaks that would make it worth the while? Well, it turns out there's something that's doing that now. It's called indiecrowdfund.com. It's specifically for comic books, and it's targeted directly at retailers. So it's in beta right now, but might be something to look at, keep an eye on. I don't know that they've done anything yet. I know they've got a couple campaigns running on it, but as far as how it fulfills and how it works, I can't say yay or nay. I'm just saying it's out there. Watch for it. So might be another opportunity to take advantage of things. And with that, I think we're all talked out.
Yeah, I'm good. If I just want to say, please take a look at Offworlder. If it's something that you might be interested in, back it. It's going to be a great story.
Hit that link. I'm going to tonight, and I know which one I'm going to get. So, Lee, keep an eye on our channel. We have a lot of open mic nights at probably about once a week. If you just want to get in here and on open mic, we just talk about anything, push anything, jump in anytime you want. We'll be glad to have you back.
I love talking comics. Like I said, almost 50 years into comics, and I still love comics. I'm gonna be an old man in a wheelchair or a scooter, and I am gonna still be talking comics.
And I'll still be wearing comic book T-shirts. It's just like,
hey, Offworlder, baby.
There you go. Is that the T-shirt that comes with the tier?
One of.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So with that said, we're going to bid you all a good night. Thank you, everybody, for showing up in the chat. Pleasure having you here. We don't have a show without you, and we will be back. I don't have anybody scheduled for tomorrow. I was going to have one, and they were double booked, so they might come back in a little bit later, but we'll see. Saturday, we've got How to Die will be on here. And then the Saturday after that, every other Saturday, we have the LCS Guys show, where we have Yule Carter from Berkeley, Michael Tierney from Little Rock, Dave Dyer from Cosmic Comics Belleville, and sometimes Comic Perch. All just talking comics retailing and the view from the trenches and selling comics and what's happening to them and how they're getting by. We started it as sort of a how are you coping with COVID kind of thing, and we just kept doing it once the stores opened back up. Always interesting to see what's happening from the retailer perspective. With that, everybody, thank you for coming in. You have a good night.
Can I say something? BM, fanaticcomics.com, L.Lee Stewart at Twitter, Fanatic Comics at Twitter, Fanatic Comics on Facebook. You'll find our shirts. You'll find you'll find the Lorenzo comic on Etsy, on our Etsy store. There's links on our page. Come over, take a look. You'll see there's a lot of stuff there.
Hit them up, guys. You won't be sorry. Good night.
Hi. Thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place, and we know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video. We hope you had a blast.